What is going on? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Real quick, Galaxy Z Fold 7, Flip 7, and Flip 7 FE are going to be announced and released at Unpacked. And with that, the processors inside of those are going to be the Snapdragon 8 Elite for the Fold 7, the Exynos 2500 on the Flip 7, and on the Flip 7 FE, you're looking at the Exynos 2400. Now, this is going to be worldwide, so it's not going to be like it was in the past where when you got a Flip 7, you know, some people would get the Exynos version, some people would get the Snapdragon version. It's going to be, everybody gets the same thing here. So, Exynos 2500 is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like a 3 nanometer processor, which is great for efficiency and speed and all of that, and performance. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, the Flip 7, the big difference between the Flip 7 and the Flip 7 FE in terms of the way it looks is on the display. I don't know if here's this one. I have the Motorola one, which I can't, oh, here it is. The Motorola, the Flip 7 is gonna look like this one, where it's just all display. And then the Flip 7 FE will have that little folder cutout. So it's one of the bigger differences, obviously, on this. Flip 7 FE, in terms of price, man, I'm not sure. I would guess probably like $799. You kind of have to guess it's gonna be something like that. $899 maybe, but I think $799, and I think the Exynos, the regular Flip 7 will probably be $1099. Man, the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold looks amazing. Like, there's a lot of nice upgrades in this to really compete against a huge upgrade from Galaxy Z Fold 7. So starting off, they're gonna have a thinner, more ergonomic hinge. The 10 Pro Fold features a much slimmer hinge than its predecessor, making the device thinner and more comfortable to hold, which is really important. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold is kind of big, especially compared to some of the phones that came out after it or around that time. And a lot of the phones are getting even thinner now, and this is a good thing for that line overall. It didn't seem like this is going to be a lot of big changes with the 10 Pro Fold, but this is definitely a nice little get for them to have a slimmer hinge on there to make it feel a little bit thinner, and I assume probably a little bit lighter. Larger outer display thanks to the compact hinge. The cover screen expands from 6.3 to 6.4, making it even larger than the standard 10 and 10 Pro. So that outside display has a bigger display than the regular Pixel 10 and 10 Pro. And at 6.4 inches, because 6.3 was plenty big on this one, it was definitely a good size for it, and now it's getting a little bit bigger, so it's even better. This is huge, IP68 dust and water resistant for the 10 Pro Fold. That means you can have it underwater for 30 minutes, or you'll have full dust protection, meaning that it can go through a lot of intense dust. This is amazing. This is shocking for me that Pixel is doing that. They didn't have IP67 or 68 on the 9 Pro Fold. They're adding it to the 10 Pro Fold. This is a huge get. If Samsung's Z Fold 7 doesn't have this, and people in construction or heavy duty jobs are concerned with dust and things like that, they might grab the 10 Pro Fold. This might be a big selling point for the 10 Pro Fold for people that want folding phones and they want full water and dust resistance. This is amazing news. Release timeline, you're looking at August 20th would be for the launching of it, and then pre-orders the same day as well on August 20th, and then shipping would begin on August 28th. So literally 2 months away from now, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold would be for launch, pre-order, and in your hands. Familiar design, minor tweaks, renders show the overall design is similar to the 9 Pro Fold with nearly identical dimensions, matching near camera setup and slight bezel gap reductions. I'm curious, you probably won't be able to use the same cases actually, because it's a little bit thinner and stuff like that. Tensor G5 inside in pricing, so you'll get the Tensor G5 processor for better performance, and are rumored to include Google's new Tensor G5 chipset, and potentially priced under the $1799 entry point of the 9 Pro Fold, potentially a $1699 or $1599 pricing point on this. But then you add on to it with better performance. That Tensor G5 processor, if I'm not mistaken, is about or near Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 performance, which is a fairly big jump from last year's jump with the Tensor G4. Also remember that this being and coming out fairly close to when, about a month later, versus when the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will be launched and come out. You know, that's good competition for both brands. It's especially if Google has theirs as the only dust resistant and water resistant folding phone. That's a huge get again. Let's jump right into Galaxy trifold news. Remember, tri-folding phone from Samsung is coming, most likely only in China and Korea. But what about some of the specs about it? So some tri-folding confirmed news from Panda Flash is no under display camera, so the camera will sit on top of the display, which makes sense, especially with the Z Fold 7 having the same thing now. Better durability thanks to titanium and aluminum build, so the build quality of the actual physical device will be more sturdy. You're gonna get Snapdragon only, so it should come with, I would assume, a Snapdragon 8 Elite. I don't think it'll have an 8 Elite 2 on here, so a really, really good processor, super fast, fastest one we got right now. 16 gigs of RAM, so a good amount of RAM in there, because you're gonna be paying a good amount of money, so it's kind of nice they're throwing that in there. And obviously this is gonna have a huge push towards AI and multitasking. I think that will be some of the biggest points of promotion for this tri-folding phone. Is it gonna be called the Galaxy Z Fold 7 Ultra? Is it gonna be called the Galaxy G Fold? What do you guys think it's gonna be called? Let me know in the comments down below. But looking like a beast. I would love to get this phone, but I also don't want to spend $3,000. I've spoken about the S Pen for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. It will definitely have S Pen support, without a doubt. It's not going to be integrated into the phone, obviously, but what about, is it changing? Because we've heard it's going to be thicker with some new technology in it. Well, it looks like the latest is that Samsung is still maintaining the slim thickness of the S Pen, so that won't really change. It'll be same thickness, but it's going to be using new technology. What is those new technologies? I have no idea. Is it going to have Bluetooth or something in it? I can't imagine what's going to be new about it that it's going to do now versus what it doesn't do with the current version. That would be my guess, is that maybe they're bringing Bluetooth to it or some kind of functionality that you can do with it beyond what it had before. Is it going to have? I don't know. Is it going to have an eraser at the bottom, at the other side of it, so you can erase it rather than having to click something on the screen and do that? I don't know. They'll probably have something that makes it more functional and easier to use, I would guess. Is Bluetooth going to be it? Wouldn't surprise me, but it would also kind of surprise me, because how are you going to charge it? I also want to confirm that more leaks, and I'm not going to show them due to copyright strikes, is that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will have the camera sitting on top of the display for sure. The real renders are out there and they show it. So camera on top of the display, Z Fold 7, completely fine with it. I'm cool with it. And I know it's been going back and forth, and lately it's been going more towards it actually being there, and it looks like it will definitely be there. Now let's talk about the prices for the Galaxy Z Fold 7, Flip 7, and Watch 8, because there's been rumors that it's going to be more, it's going to be less. I actually think it's going to be more or less the same everywhere, at least here in America. But the latest Euro prices are that the Z Fold 7 will stay the same price, $19.99, $21.19, $23.59. Now these are Euro prices, which are always a little bit more than the American counterpart, usually like the number itself. So it's probably going to be exactly the same. Maybe it'll be more, but it looks like it's probably going to end up being the same price. Z Flip 7 is potentially $100 or 100 euros less, $10.99 and $12.19. And then the Watch 8 is looking like it's going to be 50 more, $359 and $399. But I think at the end of the day, we're going to end up seeing a lot of the same prices across the board. Again, I live in America, and that's the prices I usually see. I think it'll be very similar, if not the same. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, hell, they are changing a lot on it. Maybe they will increase the price on it, especially when they know Apple's going to be coming out with one probably next year and charging a lot of money, and they're like, hey, maybe we can get away with that. I'm hoping it's going to be the same as what they've charged, or maybe even a little less than what they've charged before. Probably not less, but I think it's going to end up being the same. So, you know, this price is going to go back and forth. The price is usually one of the last things that's actually completely correct about these devices, almost until the day it's released or launched. So, you know, don't put too much weight into this until it's actually signed, sealed, and delivered by Samsung with the prices. You're going to hear a lot of back and forth with the price. It happens every year. Let me know your thoughts on this. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to lock in your reservation, guys. It's linked down below, and take advantage of it. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and it supports what I do if you love what I do. We're gonna start it off with the iPhone Fold, the phone that's due to come out in 2026. Now, some new information came out about this device with a display size of 7.58 inches on that main display with a resolution of 2713 by 1920. So basically, 1080p plus 2K in that range of display resolution with an aspect ratio of 14:1-10. And what's interesting about that is that it's going to be smaller than the Galaxy Z Fold 7's display of 8 or 8.2 inches, whatever they end up going with. Regardless, it will be smaller though. Rear cameras are likely a dual 48 megapixel sensor, which would maintain a main and ultra-wide lens like the 16 Pro, but omitting the periscope telephoto, so it wouldn't get like huge zooms in what you're trying to do. It would still be really good cameras, but it looks like it's camera-wise, it would probably be a step down versus what you get with the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Premium hinge materials, who doesn't love that? And that's something that's very important to the build quality of a folding phone, incorporating liquid metal and titanium for enhanced durability. No surprise, Apple usually makes amazing quality built phones. Launch time would be sometime in 2026, like I mentioned earlier. Not exactly sure when, the beginning, middle, or end of the year. I think it's gonna be more towards the end of the year, and a price range of $2,000 to $2,500. So very expensive, maybe even more expensive than the Galaxy Z Fold 7. And then spec-wise, maybe not as good as the Z Fold 7, which is really interesting. Next up is about the Galaxy Z Fold 7 S Pen, something that I know a lot of you are curious about. A lot of you keep asking me, is the S Pen able to write on the front display or not? Still don't, we've heard yes, we've heard no. I haven't heard anything new about that. If anything comes out, I will definitely let you guys know. But today's story involves the S Pen cases are similar to the Galaxy Z Fold S Pen cases. You can easily take the S Pen with your Galaxy Z Fold 7. It's lightweight and does not need to be charged because it doesn't have any battery inside. So that displays the myth of potentially having Bluetooth in the S Pen. But he does say, second, you might feel a latency difference between the old Fold Edition S Pen and the new one for the Fold 7 because they re-engineered it a bit. So there's gonna be less latency in terms of you writing on the screen with the new Z Fold 7 pen versus the old one, and then no Bluetooth in there, so you won't be able to do functionality that's away from the phone or need to charge it. And that goes against like what we've been hearing, like what there's gonna be new features or new things in this S Pen. What does that entail? At this point, I don't think there's gonna be anything new. I mean, maybe they'll have some new app or something, but I don't think we're gonna have a new feature per se, especially if there's no Bluetooth or something in there. It just wouldn't really make sense what they could add or what that would be on the phone. So not a huge disappointment because I probably won't even buy the S Pen, but I know for some of you who love the S Pen, sure, less latency is amazing, but having the Bluetooth functionality might have been a game changer for you as well, to be able to take remote photos and control your phone from a distance and things like that. What is going on? Welcome to Greg's TV Daily. Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're gonna talk about the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, a couple of days ago, at the time of filming this, I did a video where I said, hey, these are gonna be the things about the Galaxy Z Fold 7 that people do not like, or they complain about, or the reviewers say sucks or is not that great about it. And today's video is going to be all about the things that I really think that reviewers and people alike are really going to push to the top and be like, wow, what a great phone, this is the reason why. And I like to do both sides of the argument. I personally think this phone is going to be a massive hit. I think it's going to be an amazing phone. I think 99% of the people that get this are gonna be like, wow, what a difference over the previous generation. Now, I do wanna point out, if you do wanna reserve this phone, you can right now. It's in the description down below and the pinned comment. Take advantage of it. Supports my site. If you love the stuff I do, it supports that, and you'll be not locked into having to pre-order the phone, but it puts you in place in case you want to. And it's super simple, no credit card needed. Let's get into this. The first thing being the thinness. This is literally the thinnest Galaxy foldable phone ever. And it's also the lightest. And I had that on one of my reasons of the other side of people not liking about it, but I think there's going to be the other side of people that really do like it. So I think it's going to be a mixture of, hey, we don't like this, but we kind of do. I think it's going to be a little bit of a tug of war on that. Some people will really approve of it, some people won't. So I'm going to throw it in the approved section as well. So very thin device, easy to hold. Great still when you even have a case on it in case you want to use it in that regard. And also the weight, they're going to go hand in hand. If you have something thin, generally it's not going to be heavy. And these two these features are going to go hand in hand in terms of you being able to have a better experience holding the phone. Hand fatigue will be better. All of that is going to be improved. Next would be the performance. This has a Snapdragon 8 Elite processor and One UI 8, which has some of their smoothest, best animations on a phone. It's better than One UI 7. It's been improved. One UI 8 is not a huge jump in terms of the way it looks over One UI 7. And when you add in much better performance, like 30 to 40% improvement over the 8 Gen 3 processor, and now you're getting it with this. So your gaming is going to be better with higher frame rates and potential higher resolutions. You're also going to get better day-to-day operation, so the smoothness of the phone will be improved. Also with that processor, you're going to get potentially, because it is better at using the battery, better battery life on that as well, potentially. But really, it's going to be at the performance that's seeing a nice little jump on there. Next would be the main camera. Now, the main camera is 200 megapixels. It puts it in line with performing on the same as the S25 Ultra. It's also got a new engine behind the scenes that will take advantage of all the AI and algorithm that it puts into the photo that you're taking. Videos are supposed to be improved as well with that because of some built-in software to make them more stable. And that's all a mixture of hardware and software together to give you a much better experience on these phones. You can look at the Z Fold 6 and all the other previous generations of Z Folds, and you could get, it's not you couldn't get great photos. The 50 megapixel camera on there is still really solid, but when you have it next to a S25 Ultra, for instance, which more times than not, it's gonna get a better photo overall than the Z Fold 6, and now the Z Fold 7 is getting basically that same camera as the Ultra line, it makes for a amazing experience overall, and I'm so glad. It's one of the main things that I wanted them to improve, and they totally did it. The other thing I wanted them to improve and make bigger were the displays. These displays are getting bigger. They're going from 6.2, 6.3 to 6.5 on that outside display. And then on the main display, it's going to come from 7.6 inches all the way up to 8 inches. I've heard 8.2 inches. We'll ride with 8 inches for now. But regardless, bigger displays on there, and that's also how they're able to thin out the phone because they're making everything wider, which is totally fine with me. I think more people than not, again, would be impressed with, wow, this outside display looks great. It's so much bigger. Same thing with the inside display. The inside display is, wow, it's easier to multitask. I also think that when you see these displays, you're gonna be like, wow, that's crazy. Like, these are the best displays on a foldable phone I've ever seen. It's gonna be one of those things. It's gonna be loving the bigger displays, loving the immersiveness of being in that bigger display. The brightness and the quality of the display is really good. The displays in general are just gonna get really high marks, I believe, with this, because it is, again, one of the things that they've upgraded on there. And with that display, the other thing that's supposed to be improved is the crease. There should be less crease on the phone than before, making it a overall experience that when people see that, for the people that don't use these phones in general, these are the loudest people speaking about the crease, let's be honest, but it's gonna be one of those things you'll be like, oh yeah, it is improved. I like it now, it's definitely looks better. It doesn't affect the performance or the usage of the phone when there is a crease. It doesn't take me out of the immersion of it at all, but there are people that are bothered by it, and it's gonna be improved. And when you look at the totality of the things that are improved with this, the thinness, the build quality, performance, main camera, display, and crease, it makes for an amazing upgrade coming from an already solid, good device in a lot of ways. We're gonna jump right into the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Now, one of the things that people some people don't like are the camera rings on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. And those camera rings potentially are also coming to the Galaxy Z Fold 7, or are they? The latest report coming from Ice Universe is saying that, let me tell you something that many people don't know. In fact, the early Z Fold 7's camera still had the Saturn ring design. But in recent months, Samsung has received more and more opposition. No one likes the cheap-looking Saturn ring design, so Samsung urgently removed the design and returned to the similar design of the Z Fold 5, which is what you see in the mass production version rendering. Samsung finally listened to the voice of users and abandoned its ugly design. I think the Galaxy S26 series will also fix it. I've got to admit, I actually like it. It's one of the things I like about it. I think it makes it look really premium. I'm not in the camp of not liking it. I'm trying to think if you guys don't really like it, and like in my comments, I can't remember. You probably don't like it. I feel like things that I like, you guys don't like, but whatever. I like it, so I'm gonna be sad to kind of see it go. Not the end of the world. Even, even with this case, you can't even tell that it's on there. So not a huge deal. It's not gonna affect performance or camera quality or anything like that. It's really just aesthetics. So let me know in the comments, are you guys upset by that or not? Now, continuing on with the Galaxy Z Fold 7, a lot of this information is stuff we know, but there's a couple of points in here I wanted to point out that are kind of intriguing. The first one, obviously the 8 Elite for the Galaxy, something we've known about for a while. This is an article coming from 9to5 Google, who picked it up from another site as well. Thinner and lighter, measuring 4.2 millimeters, unfolded in 8.9 millimeters, folded with a weight of 215 grams. Again, we've heard this stuff, don't get me wrong. I'm not recreating the wheel with some of this information, but you take that thinness and you make it lighter, it's gonna be a great design change overall. 6.5-inch external display and 8-inch internal display. It's funny how some sites are saying 8.2, some sites are saying 8. It's just funny how it all works out. It's probably gonna be 8, but it's still just interesting to see all that. 10 megapixel selfie camera. It should be the outside camera, not the one on top of the main display. So if you're hoping for a 10 megapixel main display camera, not happening. Looks like this year it's gonna be on that outside display. Now, Z Flip 7, because I think we can take some of this information and carry it over to what we're talking about the Z Fold 7. So Snapdragon 8 Elite, thinner at 13.7 millimeters closed and 6.5 millimeters folded, but slightly heavier at 188 grams. So you're getting heavier, you're getting thinner, but you're also getting bigger battery on there, 4,300 milliamps, up from I think it was 4,000 or 3,900. Larger screens with a 4.1-inch external screen. I love that. It's a full screen now. Doesn't have the folder cutout on that outside display. It's just full display like the Moto Ultra. And 6.9-inch internal screen with 2,600 nits of brightness. So we finally get some nits measuring for this phone, Z Fold 7. That's the same as the Z Flip 6. That also was 2,600 nits. So my guess is, and I'm gonna carry this over to the Z Fold 7, I'm assuming it's probably also going to be 2,600 nits. I was really hoping they would increase the brightness to like 3,000, but I kind of have a feeling they're not gonna do that, probably because of battery life too. Obviously, the brighter and more power you have to throw at the screen, it's gonna make it not last as long for battery life. So I'm assuming at this point, since the Z Fold 6 and Flip 6 both had 2,600 nits, and now the Flip 7 has 2,600 nits, I'm guessing that the Fold 7 will also have 2,600 nits. Haven't seen it officially yet, but you can kind of do the math between the two. Remember, July 9th will be the launch and pre-order date for this phone. And don't forget, you can reserve the phone right now. There's a link in the description. Do it, dude. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain. This is the biggest upgrade in 7 years, 5 years maybe, because the Fold 2 is a pretty big upgrade. We'll say, what's that, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 years, biggest update on the folding line, and the most impressive, at least in my eyes, in such a long time, with the best cameras that they have on there, the bigger, best displays, the super powerful processor, less crease on the display, super thin, amazing build quality. So much to love about this phone. And we are, what is it, June 29th, tomorrow's June 30th. We're like 6 days away from this. It's gonna be awesome. Cannot wait. Let me know your thoughts on this. Go and reserve the phone, support the site as well when you do that, and we'll see you guys down the road.